Hi everyone, this is the last video of the week. It will be a short one, just going to introduce you to a discussion that you'll be doing to end the week out. And it's a discussion that's focusing on quoting and quote integration. But it also does tie back a little bit into the previous video and what I was talking about there, about the choice of examples and also analysis in this case in Charles Baxter, but we were talking about it in both Baxter and Oliver. And so I'm going to pull up very briefly the prompt for this discussion and just walk through and make sure we have a couple basic things, ideas down. And then I'm going to send you off to do the discussion, and I'll look forward to hearing your responses. I have this document called You're Really Something, quotes, examples, and analysis. So though it might seem that we're focusing mainly on examples and analysis in this discussion, the examples are quoted examples. They're quoted from creative texts. In this case, they're quoted from plays, they're quoted from movies, and they're quoted from fictional short stories. And we're going to look at Charles Baxter's essay and how he integrates these quotes, and apply some of the rules that we will identify in Anteater Guide to Writing and Rhetoric in order to do so. And of course, once you've quoted the examples, then you have to analyze them, as we discussed. When you have a persuasive essay and you're trying to convince your audience of something, it's not good enough just to say, look, here's an example. You have to explain the example to them. You have to talk about how it has the effect you say it has and prove it to them. So all three of these things are going to be working together. So let's just read the intro, and then I'll walk you through the three parts. It says, the following discussion is going to ask you to do three things. Read all of the instructions carefully. So it says the first section is just reading. So it will not include any specific writing task. And what you're going to be reading is from the chapter Drafting and Crafting. It's about quote integration. It's both the grammatical rules of quote integration, but it's also covers ideas of introducing quotes. And so it's actually a three-step level, I believe, that the chapter talks about. Introducing a quote, grammatically integrating a quote, and then analyzing or commenting on a quote. And that gives us kind of the basis for how to include quotes in our own writing. The chapter will be useful for you in the third section. The second section is asking you to write a response to the questions listed in that section. Provide your response directly to the Canvas discussion thread. And so that is one task you'll do actually in the thread. The reading is done on its own beforehand. And the first thing you're going to do in the discussion thread is ask these questions, answer these questions. Why do we quote? Why and when is it a good decision by a writer to use a quote from another writer's work? I want to hear what you have to say and hear your understanding of the purpose of quoting. The next thing that you'll do in the third section is write a brief written response and annotate or highlight Charles Baxter's essay. Follow the instructions to highlight all the examples, but for the sake of the discussion thread, I'd like you to upload a picture of one of your highlighted pages and post to the thread. So your section 2 written response, so the written response to these questions here, and your section 3 written response plus photo should be submitted all at the same time. So all in the same text entry box. So you enter text as you've done the discussions all quarter, and then you also go to the little toolbar at the top of the text box where it says embed image or upload file, and you upload your photo there as well. And that third section has us learning from how Charles Baxter quotes. I ask you to find 3 different ways that Baxter grammatically integrates quotes into his essay, and you'll know these different ways to integrate quotes by reading from section 1. And then I'm going to ask you to do a highlighting practice from Charles Bachter's examples and analysis. And I've given you an example here. I'm not going to walk through it all in this video because the rest of the text here explains it. But let's see. I think that's it. That gives you enough to work on. This discussion will help you learn how to quote in the final essay, but also continue to show you how these model texts that we're looking at use examples and develop their analysis to make convincing arguments to their audience. So I can't wait to see your responses to these, and I will talk to you soon.